You're welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, especially those who are watching us. And you, immediately after the president's speech, you are all waiting with great anticipation. So devised a way of increasing your anticipation to this analysis. There are two aspects of the president's speech. He said a couple of things, but there are two aspects of the president's speech which I'd like us to attend to. And the first, let's reverse the order. The first will be the ICC controversies. A lot of people claiming responsibility. We spent all through last week talking about it, and we promised Amazonians we're going to get into a core of that discussion again today. Even before we thought of that, the president of the Federal Republic of Amazonia gave an address that seemed to be in sync with what would have actually happened. And there's this whole thing of Amazonians or Southern Cameroonians or properties of Cameroon always trying to deny this government the right to the glory that they deserve. And I will begin with you, Barrister Fru, in this regard. Please talk to us after listening to the president. I know you had the chance of talking to the stakeholders of the Amazonian movement during the APP. Maybe you want to say some of those things again to a larger community of Amazonians and to the international community, especially to the proxy media was mainstream that is parading the falsehood agenda of Cameroon. Talk to us, Barrister Fro.
Yeah, Patty, thank you very much. Like you rightly said, the three of us on this screen now, we worked on that file. Barrister Mbeseha, our most senior colleague and chairman of the Judicial Council, Barrister Ghana, who is the deputy chairman of the Judicial Council, and me, the Attorney General of Ambazonia. All of us sat down, having taken over the file from an American law firm that was previously briefed, paid $15,000, and they did nothing but ask for more money. So we decided to take it over. And when we took it over, we three of us worked diligently to produce the criminal complaint. We had one difficulty, that of jurisdiction. La République de Cameroon is not a member of the ICC. They have not ratified the Rome Statute. So what should we, that was the dilemma that we had. So fortunately for us, we have a senior colleague, most senior colleague, Charles Taku, who is practicing at The Hague. He reminded us that Nigeria is taking part in what is happening to us. The bare fact that they deported asylum seekers and refugees seeking protection back to where they are running from, it's a violation of an international convention on the protection of refugees and asylum seekers, as was enacted in 1951 and ratified by Cameroon and Nigeria in 1961. So he advised us to bring in the Nigerian government, the president of Nigeria, Buhari, and more especially, they will have to sort themselves out through the investigation, and a general who took upon himself to work with Ataganji and Rene Sadi to capture our leaders from Nigeria who were already asylum seekers, who were refugees, and send them back not to a third country of their choice as the law provides, but that is if they committed any offense in Nigeria, but they send them back to where they are running from. They thought that by the time they got there, they will be executed. Fortunately for us, we found them alive, and they are now languishing in Kondenge maximum prison for life. So Barrister Taku advised us to annex that judgment and bring Nigeria in. So because Nigeria is a full member of the ICC, and then we tied Nigeria to Cameroon, both of them acting in concert, and that's what we did. And our file was accepted by the letter that you heard the president read. And we are waiting after the investigation because they have opened up the investigation. The investigators are now on the ground, and I suppose they are on the ground in Ambazonia, in Yaoundé, and in Nigeria. They will come up with their own analysis, and they will inform us subsequently. I can easily say that this work is going to take some time, and so let's keep our fingers crossed. When they finish their job, they will tell us who they are indicting and who they are not indicting. For them to have gone on the ground based on based on the criminal complaint that we filed, it's a big victory for us. And let Memimifo and his cohorts who are parading a narrative that it was not filed by us, that it is not on the basis of whether we ever filed. It is some broadcaster, Kenyan broadcaster, who somehow influenced a certain organization in South Africa to file, and that happened just last week, less than 2 weeks. And do they really think that because you filed in less than 2 weeks, the ICC will immediately go on the ground because you filed something? Before our filings, Barrister Akeremuna had filed and was rejected. Professor Anyangwe filed and was rejected. And even this Lisinge that we're talking about, he filed something. It didn't amount to nothing. So many people have filed and it has amounted to nothing. So we are very happy to announce that this government is leading the fight to our final arrival in Boya. But before we arrive in Boya, justice must be done and seen to be done. Thank you very much.
That's amazing. By Mbeseha, I'll be asking you almost the same questions this evening. This whole posturing, positioning of people trying to take responsibility for what they really didn't do, and which we understand, like the proxy media of Mimime for fostering that. We know that is Cameroon's engineering. What do you think again that they are trying to achieve by all of this? Is it some form of distraction again? What's the calculation? I told somebody at the background, maybe I should hint you on this. I said for Cameroon didn't know today that it was going to be public what the ICC would have done. I'm sure 2-3 weeks ago, for them to have said it is that group that Barrister Mbeseha or Barrister Fru is saying, I think they would have fast forwarded that to distract people from the credibility, because the acknowledgement of that letter in itself already tells the international community the credibility, competence, and capacity of the government of Ambazonia. So I put it again to you, Barrister Mbeseha. What could be this objective of people trying to take credit for what they really didn't do, and then deny the real person from taking the glory?
Uh, I think I think the answer is simple. The simple answer is people are trying to own what they do not have. That's the bottom line. It is not manipulation from Yaoundé because Yaoundé doesn't like being indicted. So they're not going to manipulate their own indictment. So these people
Yeah.
trying to harvest where they did not sow. But that's not the important thing now. For now, I think every reasonable Ambazonian knows that there's a fire there. There are ongoing investigations as we speak. So what's important for us and for all Ambazonians to know is what you expect next. Because that's the education they need in this type of process. When you say The ICC prosecutors or agents are on the ground. What does an Ambazonian living in Garibu, living in Kwakwa, living in Pinyin, where most of these events took place, expect? And that's what I want us to deal with. When you hear that an investigator is coming, don't expect to see somebody at your doorsteps driving a limousine, driving a four-wheel drive car. Expect, in particular, a simple person making a call to you, just an ordinary call, and say, "Well, see, I'm interested in something that happened in Garibu. Can you talk to me?" He said, "Yes." When can we talk? Something as simple as that. Expect that. In fact, the evidence we put there is what we gathered most of us from abroad. They come on the ground to authenticate what is written there. One. Also, to get people who will testify in court. That evidence is enough. It's not enough to convict somebody. Somebody must come and testify, give testimony of what happened on the spot. And so expect people to come to you, for example, in Garibu or Kwakwa, or any of those incidents that you know. And ask you, most of the time, if you go to Garibu or to Pin or to Kwakwa, you're not going to find the people who are there involved sitting there. They might have escaped to your own day. Some of them might have escaped abroad for fear of their own lives. But if you have an idea about it, expect this investigator, a simple man with a simple phone, maybe with a small tape recorder in his pocket that you might not see, asking you questions about that. If you know about the incident, for example, but you know that the brother or the sister or the wife or the husband or the child of the person who was killed is still alive, but he's not in Garibu, he's not in Kwakwa, he's not somewhere around there. He has escaped, maybe to Yaoundé, maybe perhaps even abroad. He might be found today in America or in Japan or in China, somewhere else. Give them the information. This boy or this guy or this woman whose husband was killed is called Mama Susanna. She went to the US. I have her phone number. I will give you the phone number. Because they will contact her. They will contact him. They have the ability and the power to bring him or her to the court for trial, to give evidence. They have the instruments. If they don't want to fly the person from China, they have the instruments to have the person testify to the court directly from China. So keep nothing in hiding. Feel confident that you are safe. Because under the ICC also, that's what they call the witness protection system. They know that if you are living in Garibu, Garibu is so common, or in Mount in the hospital, and you are aware of this and you testify, they know that Yano will come after you. They want to kill you to eliminate the evidence. But rest assured that if you give this thing correctly, there is protection for you. They offer you protection. The ICC has adequate protection against for the security of their witnesses. So, bottom line, feel confident that what you are going to give out there is not going to hurt you. You'll be properly protected. Give them the information that is required without hiding anything. If you say the guy who did this thing, is this, I know the person, I know the name, they're not coming back to for you. They're not going to get to call the guy and say, well, we know that we'll give the others. Just give the information. They know how to protect you. And so that is what we should expect from now going on. Whether whoever claims to own the thing, we all know, most of us, at least majority of us, not that they are trying to harvest where they did not sow. They're just lying. Yeah, but as Ghana said, we don't need to waste our time on imposters because they have no evidence. The president said it. If they have their own evidence, let them bring it forward. That's okay. If our own investigation is going on along with theirs, so that's all to the credit of Ambazonia. But for now, we know that we have our own. We have to guide our own troops. We have to coach our own witnesses. We have to tell our own people who follow us what to do, what to expect, what not to do. And so that's what is important for us now. There's no doubt, or very little doubt, that investigations are going on. But we know that most of us back home were frightened with the notion of going to court. Nobody wants to go to court. So when they appear before your door, maybe they are not all living in towns. They are not all educated. Don't be scared. They're not coming to capture you. They're just trying to get information from you to vindicate your pain. They vindicate the pain of your mother, your father, your sister, or your house that was burnt. Give this information without fear or favor. If you don't have it and you know somebody who has it, give them the name of the person, give them the contact information if you have. Because they have tools to contact me, to contact you, or anybody abroad to get that information. If they have the rare information that we have. We have a better case. I'm sure we're going to be vindicated. That's the take home lesson we take from here. At least the majority of people have already said, know that there's a file there. They know those who file it. If it is praises, we have taken more than enough. If it is insults, we have had enough from our detractors.
Correct.
So our brothers and sisters who will be called to testify. I doubt if the three of us here, any of us will be a witness. But if we happen to be one, we know what to do. But the bulk of us who don't know what to do should take this as a guideline to, because it's going to go on. We don't know how long, but the investigations will go on. Rest assured, you'll be contacted if you had an idea about Garabo. You'll be contacted if you have something about Kimball. And I remember we said in the earlier segment that the Bishop of Manfe was in Manfe, Kiawu is not in Bamanda, talking about Kimball, crying. They will contact him. I don't know what he will say. Because the good thing about this our case is that most of the things that we say and discuss here, the enemy recorded them. He taped them, he recorded them himself. So even if they go to Bishop Andrew, I wonder whether he would retract what he said and was recorded when he was in Manfield. They said, no, I was lying. That would be well unorthodox of a bishop. So there's more than enough information. And again, not every one of us is as well informed on how to provide evidence. You have to listen to these things carefully. If you have doubts and you have, even after this, call brothers and so call any of us. We'll still give you the information in the simplest language that you can understand how to help us move on. And as I said, all of us who are still alive will fight and fight until those who did this thing to us are held accountable, individually and collectively. Thank you, Paddy.
That's amazing.